Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today is part 2 of my job history series, where we're going to take a complete job history for someone and display their current job and their previous job right on the main customer form. And of course, this is part 2, so if you haven't watched part 1 yet, what are you doing here? Go watch part 1, then come on back. All right, so part 1 was basically all the setup. We got everything set up, right? And that's why I do the Tech Help free template video stuff too, so I don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. But we got our customers, and then we've got a full job history for the customer. Now, what we want to do is right here on this form, display their current job and then their previous job. And remember, their current job is going to be the most recent start date with no end date. So it could be none. They could have no current job. If they're not working, right, that'll say, we want it to say none. They're not currently working. That could be important. So what's the algorithm? What are we going to think in our brains? How are we going to try and find that? Well, we're looking in the job table, obviously, right? End date has to be null, so we use is null for that. And we want the job in here with the largest start date, the most recent, right? With dates, the larger numbers are in the future. So we're going to use DMax to find the largest start date where the end date is null for this customer. Okay? And I even like to write this out in Notepad sometimes before I even get into my code, right? So we're going to use DMax. All right, DMax. And DMax takes 3 bits of information, right? The field we're looking for, which is start date, okay, from the job table, where, now the first thing is we need the customer ID has to match the customer ID on the current customer form. But it's also on the job form, so we can utilize the one on the job form too. Okay, so customer ID equals, and we're going to use concatenation for that, customer ID, right? But we also want to make sure that the end date is null. So inside of my quotes again, I'm going to go and is null end date, just like that. Okay, and then we'll close up our quotes. So what's going to happen is this right here, with that concatenation, right? This gets a lot of people. That's why I want to review it, especially for you expert users, right? This whole thing right here, this concatenation, that's going to get replaced with 1. See what I just did there? That whole and customer ID, it's going to grab that customer ID, technically the one off of this form, right? But it's going to say customer ID equals 1 and is null end date. And that's going to go into there. So that is our final DMax statement. So we can take this and we can put this in a text box on the customer form. I'm going to just move this off to the side for now. Let's close this. Oh, and I stand corrected. I was thinking about this form. It is going to actually grab this one because this field is going to go on the customer form. Okay, but customer ID is on both of these forms. But this box is going here. All right. So we're going to I'll just take any one of these guys like credit limit, copy, paste. Whoops. Nope, I don't want you. I want you. Copy, paste. There we go. I had this text in my clipboard still. It didn't hit copyright, so it dropped it down as a label. All right, so let's change this. Now, we're going to actually need 2 boxes, right? The current job's date, that start date, and then we can use that start date to get the description and find out what job it actually is. But first, let's start with this date. Okay, so we're going to say current job date. That's going to be this guy. And let's open up his properties. And I'm going to name this guy current job date. And for the control source, it's going to be equal to that DMax statement that we just wrote. That guy, I'm going to copy that and paste it right there. And get rid of that format for currency. Okay. All right, save that. And we'll close it, open it. I'm going to close this because we don't need this right now. Okay, and there we go. We got 2004-0101. That should be his current job. Let's look in here. Yep, that's correct. It's got an end date for this customer, and it's got the right date. Okay, let's take a look at the next customer. All right, it's blank. Why is that? Let's take a look. Okay, it didn't come back with one, so it's actually got a null in there. And if you want to change it to some other value, you can use that NZ function we talked about earlier, and you can wrap it in. But I'm going to just, the null value is fine for now. So now that we know what the current job date was, right? We know the date that this person had the job, and we know it's this one because this one here has no end value. Now we can use that date and look up the description. You could look up the ID too. You could look up anything from this record that you want. One thing to note though, if the person somehow does have two jobs that they currently are at, that they started on the same day, this is only going to give you one of them. All right, so this assumes that they don't have the exact same job on the exact same day, something different. All right, there's always little what ifs that come into these things sometimes. All right, so now we got the date and we know the person. Now we can actually look up what the job name is, right? So I'm going to copy and paste this guy. This will be just current job now. Okay, let's open this up. And I'm going to change the name to current job. And let's delete the control source. We're going to put something brand new, fresh in here. Shift F2. What are we going to do? Well, we know the customer ID, right? And we know what their current job's start date is, right? And so that should be enough to look up the name of that job or the description. Okay, so this is going to be equals DLookup, the description from the job table where the customer ID equals the same customer and the start date equals, now remember for dates we have to put them inside of these things, right? To put valid dates. So that and current job date, that's the thing we looked up a second ago, and that. So we're going to look up the description from the job table where the customer is the current customer and the start date equals that max start date that we looked up a second ago. All right, hit OK, save it, close it, open it, and oh, look at that. It looked up Fleet Admiral. Let's make sure that's correct. Yep, there's Fleet Admiral. Right, empty, max, Fleet Admiral. Let's go to the next one. Error. Oh, why am I getting an error? Anybody? Can you think of why? Take a second. Well, because this is null, right? So we have to say, hey, if this happens to be null, they don't have a current job. Let's put the word none in there. So to do that, we're just going to wrap our function in an if statement, right? And yes, I'm being funny calling it if, but that way you remember it's IIF and not IFF. Okay, so right in here, we're going to say if is null, current job date, then put the word none in here. Otherwise, do the DLookup. And of course, close up that double parenthesis, right? This is a nested function. Here's the DLookup right there. But the if is going to go first. It's going to say if the current job date is null, put the word none in this box. Otherwise, put that whole DLookup thing in there. And that'll take care of your null problem. Save it, close it, open it, and look at that, none. Oh, isn't that cute? Okay. Now we can do the same thing with previous job. Now, previous job, let's go to someone else here. Previous job, what's the rule for that? It's going to be the max of end date. Okay, assuming they've got other jobs in here, find the one that's got the max end date. In other words, the job they quit most recently, not most frequently, most recently, which job did they quit? That'll be their previous job. So again, it's going to be a two-step process. I'm going to design view, come down here. Let's, I'm just going to make these from scratch because I want to write these for you so you can get the habit of doing this instead of just copying and pasting. Okay, so this will be the previous, whoops, what happened? The previous, sometimes I look down and I realize it's not typing. All right, let's come into here. This will be previous job date. And let's delete this and start from scratch. We get the practice, right? Okay. So again, we're dealing with DMax equals DMax. What field are we maxing? End date. End date from the job table, right? Where the customer ID equals customer ID. That's it. That's all we need for this one. Just give me the max end date for the customer. Okay, for one of his jobs. Nulls won't show up in here. Or if he hasn't, another way to think of it is if he hasn't quit a job or been fired, or if he doesn't have an end date, that means he doesn't have a previous job. He only has a current job or no jobs. All right, hit OK. And then again, same thing, copy, paste. And this will be previous job. Now we'll get that description. Previous job. Delete. Here we go. This will be equals. I find it easier to write the inside function first. Do the DLookup first, then wrap it in the if then, right? So DLookup description from the job T, where the customer ID equals customer ID, and end date equals previous job date, and that thing, right? Now we got to deal with our null. We'll wrap this whole thing inside of a null. If is null, previous job date, comma, none, comma, this whole thing, close parentheses. See? And notice what I almost accidentally did there. I almost put that inside of quotes. That was just me, my fingers getting ahead of me. But people do that. I see this mistake a lot, right? This is a field on the form. It's not a text, all right? It's not a string of letters, right? This would be the actual text previous job date, whereas this is the field previous job date. Don't mistake in those. All right, hit OK, save it, close it, open it. There we go. Shuttle pilot, that's his previous job. Yep. Next. All right, no current job. Previous job is a starship captain. Yep. It's got the biggest end date, right? Let's see the next person. Okay, looks good. Academy instructor, engineer is previous. Looks good. Next. Job B and no previous job. Okay, yeah. Both of these are active, and this is the one that he canceled the most recently, or started the most recently. Okay? And if you go to someone who has no job history, it'll just say none and none, which is what we want. And what I did was I just cleaned this up a little bit. So I said current job. I moved these over here, right? Current job. Line this up right, like so. Make that big. And then underneath that, I did since. Like this. All right, you can slide that over like that. So he's had this job since that date. And then the previous job under that. There. Right there. Previous job. And then this will be until. Getting these lined up exactly right is a thing of mine. And I usually, in my full classes, I don't make you sit here and watch me do it. But we're having fun today, right? All right, so then I'll select all of this stuff. Right-click, size to grid. There we go. Maybe put the jobs button down here where it's next to these guys. Save it, close it, open it. There you go. Same. All right, so it's looking pretty good. Now, one more issue we have to address, and that is what if you update this information? What if I'm on here, and it turns out that he's no longer a fleet admiral. You just talked to him on the phone today, and he quit that job. So he was a fleet admiral as of 2025 1/1. All right, close this, and this doesn't update. But if you close this and then reopen it, now it updates. So how do you get it to do that without you having to close and reopen the form? Well, we'll talk about that in tomorrow's class. So again, tune in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Or if you're a member, you can watch it right now. It's one of the benefits of being a member. You can watch videos as soon as I finish them. But that is going to be your Tech Help video for today. Hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow for part 3. A special thank you and shout out to our diamond sponsors. Juan Soto with Access Experts Software Solutions, manufacturing experts specializing in Access and SQL Server. Sammy Shama with Shama Consultancy, a certified Microsoft Access expert who offers personalized one-on-one tutoring. And Amanda Nicole Consulting, specializing in helping businesses move from complex Excel sheets to an Access database. You'll find links to the diamond sponsors in the description down below the video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my TechHelp page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the TechHelp page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.